Public, and everybody knows the story already.
All right, this is the Village of Peotone Board meeting for January 13, 2014. We begin by rising to say the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Reichert.
Here.
Mr. Hupkey.
Oh, here.
Mr. Wicker.
Here.
Mr. Hack.
Here.
Mr. Callahan.
Yes.
Mr. Forsythe.
Yes. Okay, let the record show that all the trustees are here. We have a quorum. We may officially conduct business. First order of that business will be to approve the corrections or to approve the minutes or correct them for the December 9, 2013 regular village board meeting. Trustees, if you will review those, and I will entertain a motion to accept the minutes of December 9, 2013 as presented, or if you see a reason to correct them, please let us know what that correction would be.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes.
Okay, motion by trustee Hupkey to approve the minutes, seconded by trustee Wicker. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Hupkey.
Yes.
Mr. Wicker.
Yes.
Mr. Reichert.
Yes.
Mr. Hack.
Yes.
Mr. Callahan.
Present.
And Mr. Forsythe.
Present.
Okay, record show that the minutes are approved and become the official record of that meeting. Under accounts payable and payroll, we've got two actions. I'm going to take two motions here. The first motion will be to ratify the bills that would have normally been approved at the last meeting in December, but because we canceled that meeting due to a conflict with the holidays, and authorize the payment of regular bills, this officially confirms the payment of those bills as being an official correct action. So we have the payroll for the pay period ending December 7th, 2013, in the amount of $46,738.54. We have under accounts payable from the general fund bills totaling $37,360.15. And in the water and sewer fund, we have bills totaling $25,128.81. The total under accounts payable for the general fund and sewer fund is $62,488.96. Do I have a motion to approve, to ratify the paying of the bills for, as listed for the end of December?
I make a motion, we pay the bills.
Motion by trustee Wicker, seconded by trustee Reichert, to ratify the payment of the bills as noted. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Wicker.
Yes.
Mr. Reichert.
Yes.
Mr. Hupkey.
Yes.
Mr. Hack.
Yes.
Mr. Callahan.
Yes.
And Mr. Forsythe.
Yes.
Okay. Motion carries, and the ratification of the payment of those bills is approved. The next motion will be for the current bills for the payroll for the pay period ending December 21st of 2013 in the amount of $47,420.94, and the payroll for the period ending January 4th, 2014 in the amount of $47,135.65. Also, we have bills from the general fund totaling $68,469.12. Bills from the water and sewer fund totaling $28,459.97. And the postage for mailing out the water and sewer bills of $643.52. Total for those three categories of bills, $97,572.61. Is there a motion to approve the paying of the regular bills?
I make a motion, we pay the bills.
Motion by trustee Wicker, seconded by trustee Reichert to pay the bills as presented. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Wicker.
Yes.
Mr. Reichert.
Yes.
Mr. Hupkey.
Yes.
Mr. Hack.
Yes.
Mr. Callahan.
Yes.
Mr. Forsythe.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is public comment and or questions about a non-agenda item. In other words, if you're on the agenda, we'll talk about it when we get to it. asking for comments?
Not me.
All right. Hearing none, I'm going to take a moment to commend the Public Works Department for their tireless work the past few weeks to keep the snow cleared and handle broken water mains and other water issues. We had a number of residents who the water burst in their house and called us to turn the water off outside because they couldn't get it turned off inside. I think the folks there did a very outstanding job considering the cold and the amount of snow and going for 24 hours in a row over and over. So I just wanted to note for the record their contributions in that regard. Jerry, did you
I think
want to
they,
add something?
I think they did an excellent job, and our police department also that night, it was so cold. They must have passed and stayed on the street 40 times. I mean, they just did a commendable job. I think they did an excellent job, both departments.
We have a good, I think we have excellent people and a great reputation, because several years ago when we had folks snowed in here from all over the state, they couldn't get over the fact that they were being taken care of.
Yeah.
It's what a small town is all about. So, yeah, and we need to pat our people on the back for the outstanding work they do. All right, I'm going to move on down to reports of committees. We've got the clerk collector report and the treasurer's report on the finances. And unless any of the trustees have a question, I'm going to keep moving down. There is no police chief report, even though the chief is here tonight. Okay.
I only come to defend myself. I know Jerry takes attendance if I'm not here.
Actually, it's the, one or two times that you miss because you're at a training is when somebody comes up with a
Jerry
question.
catches it, I can't sneak in.
Yeah. All right, engineers report. Troy, updates on anything?
Regarding the traffic signal study at Route 50 in Corning, IDOT sent us comments on our geometric plans and calculations, and we turned them around and got them back to IDOT in the middle of December. So now we're waiting on them to give us more comments or approve it, likely some more comments, and then we could move on from there.
Okay, things are moving, and thanks for staying on top of that, because that seems to have a lot on their plate right now, and our stoplight needs to be a priority for them too. Under old business, we have consideration of the Martin Luther King holiday as a paid holiday. That was brought up. George, do you want to do that, or you want me to?
At the last meeting, a request to consider Martin Luther King Day as a village holiday was forwarded to the Administrative Oversight Committee. However, due to the holidays, the Administrative Oversight Committee was unable to meet prior to this board meeting, so that matter still remains open.
And if I can toss in one more item, we're about to begin negotiations, collective bargaining on a new contract, and it's likely that this might be related to that. I would suggest that perhaps waiting till after the AOC can officially act on this would be a smart course for us in order to make sure that we've looked at all the ins and outs for this coming year. Trustees, any comments?
Do we have any idea what other municipalities do?
That's not part of what we've done so far. It's one of those things where I think AOC would be reviewing and coming up with items related to that. Other comments?
Who was the request made by?
Trustee
Riker
Riker.
Oh,
brought
okay.
the request at the last meeting.
You know, it is a federal holiday, and I'll tell you, I don't want 200 and 300 people out there demonstrating sometime, and this could happen. And banks are closed, everything else is closed that day, so I think really we should be closed too.
Make a motion that we table this to the next meeting so that the AOC could have
Okay, motion to table this until the next meeting so AOC can have time to review it. Will AOC meet between now and the next meeting?
And we normally have a committee meeting on Wednesday. It's too late to get that agenda out, and there's a special P and Z meeting that Wednesday, so we'd have to have a meeting on a different night.
So the likelihood of AOC being able to meet during the next 2 weeks is not very good.
I don't know, but I know that
Myself as a member, I can meet at any night.
Likewise.
I know.
Okay.
So there is a sense that the members who sit on the AOC could probably come up with a date?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you let me know so I can get it posted?
Yes.
Yeah, we have to do that. All right, so
need
a motion to
48
table till the next meeting.
I need a second.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Motion by trustee Hupkey, second by trustee Forsythe to table the item until the next meeting. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Hupkey.
Yes.
Mr. Forsythe.
Yes.
Mr. Callahan.
Yes.
Mr. Hack.
Yes.
Mr. Wicker.
Yes.
Mr. Rick.
Yes.
Okay. Motion carries, and we're looking for the AOC then to come up with a special meeting between now and the next village board meeting. All right, moving on to the new business. The first item is a special use request. George, do you want to go
Yeah.
through that?
this is special use permit request from Terry's Ford. Comes to you as a result of a public hearing held on December 11th, 2013, where the above-mentioned case was heard requesting a special use permit for the purpose of constructing or expanding a customer waiting room, service area, and car wash. The area is zoned V3 auto-oriented and service business district. When the existing area was annexed, the zoning was approved subject to construction occurring in general conformance with the submitted plans. As the current request would increase the floor area by approximately 25%, additional approval is necessary. The site is located at 363 North Harlan. Testimony indicated the petitioner wishes to add approximately 4,700 square feet to his dealership for the purpose of constructing or expanding customer waiting room, service area, and car wash. A resident of Walnut Street had several questions relative to the petition. Two specific questions related to operating a car wash in proximity to a private well and periodic low water pressure. The property immediately southwest of the subject parcel was unincorporated and on a private well. Staff spoke with a representative from the Will County Health Department responsible for wells and permits. The representative from the Health Department is unaware of any such restriction and would not see the car wash as a problem if the petition were before the county. Also, the expansion would not impact water pressure in the area because A, the existing car wash is simply being relocated and the car wash will not be open to the public, and B, Terry's Ford is fed by an 8-inch main that is independent of the service to Walnut Street. Based upon the evidence presented, the commission made the attached findings of fact. Based upon those findings of fact, it is recommendation of this commission the petition for a special use permit be approved with the following conditions: compliance to the health, building, and fire safety codes. The project is to be in general conformance with the plans and exhibits presented. All exhibits and testimony relative to this petition are incorporated into the approval. And the terms, provisions, and conditions relative to this special use permit shall be covenants that run with the land and shall be enforceable against the petitioner and property owner or any successors in interest, successors, lessees, transferees, heirs, legal representatives, or assigns. A roll call vote was had, resulting in a unanimous vote, 7 ayes, 0 nay, forwarding a favorable recommendation for adoption of the ordinance and approval of the special use.
Okay, this, you have in your packet the draft ordinance, which would be ordinance number 13-19, an ordinance approving the special use for Terry's Ford at 363 North Harlan. Trustees, do you have any questions? I will entertain a motion to adopt an ordinance 13-19, an ordinance approving the special use at 363 North Harlan for Terry's Ford.
Motion. Second.
Motion by trustee Forsythe, seconded by trustee Wicker to approve ordinance 13-19, a special use permit for 363 North Harlem, Terry's Ford. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Forsythe.
Yes.
Mr. Wicker.
Yes.
Mr. Hudson.
Yes.
Mr. Riker.
Yes.
Mr. Hack?
Yes.
Mr. Callahan?
Yes. Okay, motion carries unanimously and is approved. Good luck with that. Next item on the agenda has to do with an ordinance transferring money.
The village needs to transfer money within two departments. In the administration department, we need to transfer $8,400 from other professional services, more specifically the development district startup, to legal services. In the water department, we need to transfer $10,000 from equipment, just general use, $15,000 from utility system maintenance, more specifically well pulling and general maintenance, and $5,000 from meters, all to legal services. The transfers are necessary to pay for unforeseen expenses. Approval of this action requires 2/3 vote of the village authorities. This ordinance transfers money between existing budget items and does not increase taxes.
This would be ordinance 13-20.
I draw to your attention on the ordinance on our agenda, it says 8,500, but in the ordinance, on here it's 8,400.
Probably a typo on my part, I apologize for that.
Thanks for pointing that out. The actual amount is
84.
84? Okay. All right, and is that, I'm looking, yes, that is also the language which is in the draft ordinance that's there, so it's only on the cover sheet where that mistake appears. All right, other questions or comments, trustees? All right, this would be ordinance 13-20, an ordinance transferring appropriated money as specified in sections 1 and sections 2 to the legal fund. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Wicker, seconded by trustee Hack, to approve ordinance 13-20, transferring appropriated money as outlined in sections 1 and sections 2 to the legal services line. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Wicker?
Yes.
Mr. Hack?
Yes.
Mr. Callahan?
Yes.
Mr. Forsythe?
Yes.
Mr. Riker?
Yes.
And Mr. Hupkey?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. That incidentally needed a 2/3 vote.
Yeah,
We
mayor
got it.
votes, I'm sorry.
Oh, I have to
Mayor
vote
votes,
too?
yes, you can.
Yes,
And President Green?
yes. I didn't know whether or not I had to vote unless
Well,
there
you
was not.
can, you're authorized to vote, so, but it would have carried.
I always take a chance to vote when I have to.
2, 4, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next item has to do with the Will Grundy Major Crimes Task Force.
The Will Grundy, this proposal is brought to you by Chief Mort. The Will Grundy Major Crimes Task Force is a coalition of police departments, county government offices, and state and federal agencies. The task force provides support services to member agencies on major crimes. Major crimes are defined as homicide or attempted homicide, kidnapping, serial arson, rape or sexual assault, exceptionally heinous offenses, and these aren't crimes, but they're included in scope, incidents involving police shooting or deadly force incidents, and in custody to death investigations. Peotone has been a member of the task force since 2008. Annual dues are set by an executive board, and Peotone dues have averaged about $1,000 a year. In the past, the group has acted as an informal coalition. However, underwriters have recommended a formal structure with member participation formally approved by the local unit of government. What you have here is an ordinance, an intergovernmental agreement ordinance, authorizing our participation in the Will Grundy Major Crimes Task Force along with their bylaws.
Okay, and this would be ordinance 13-21, and I'm looking for my page, which got out of order. There it is. Intergovernmental agreement for the Will Grundy Major Crimes Task Force. Is there a motion to adopt ordinance 13-21?
Just a quick question. Is this something that we have to adopt every year, or is it just?
No.
No.
My understanding it's one and done.
Yes, that's correct.
And this was more or less, this has gone in, more or less informally, but this, as I recall reading this, there was a directive.
The insurance underwriters felt
Thank
it
you.
needed to be more formally
Formalized.
defined, more formally structured.
That's correct.
Okay.
We've been a member of it since its inception in 2008, In Cook County, they've had a major crimes task force that deals with the targets of this, a lot of the murders and the high-profile cases that go on, that a lot of municipalities don't have the resources. So we got in on it in the beginning, but since the recent review in the last year, actually, in the last year, they wanted to get these intergovernmental agreements filed with task forces, and this got set on a side burner by someone, didn't tell everybody. I'm part of the Major Crimes Task Force Directive Board, but, you know, they have a lot of meetings and can't make them all. But this is more of a formality. When they come out and are requested by this agency, your chief of police or his designee is in charge. They don't operate, they don't do anything unless the entity is wanting it done. They're here to assist, not to take over and handle entirely. So it's important that the police administration is part of the group, and we work together to solve the crime that we've asked them for assistance for. We have not had to activate them for our community, but we have had to assist. We have members of our team that are part of the task force, and we've had to assist other communities when they've done the call. So,
Do all communities contribute the same dues?
yes, they do. This past year, they did not assess any dues, and those are primarily used for some equipment and training. Because under major crimes, especially homicide, you have to continue education to be involved in those type of investigations. It's changed over the last several years, and so they, being part of the organization, they're able to provide training and some equipment, and it's a benefit to us, to everybody's part of it.
It's a good co-op.
It's a great co-op, yes. Grundy County's part of it.
It's cost efficient for all the small municipalities. It's a good concept.
Yeah. Like I said, it wasn't required to get village recognition in 2008. That wasn't part of the group as administrative decision. And everybody got on board, but in the last year, they wanted to get formal agreements on file with each agency, because the underwriters, if you're involved in any lawsuits, it wasn't us, it was another community, but in evaluation with the state attorney's office, they wanted to get the intergovernmental agreement created.
It's a smart way of doing it by intergovernmental agreement, because it formalizes it and it lays out the responsibilities financially as well as the other resources. So
Just to advise the members here, if the team is activated, the responsibility of this agency is not to pay for manpower. We don't have any assessment of manpower cost. The organization absorbs the manpower, members of it. But on the side note, we have to supply a work area, and we have to make sure they don't starve to death while they're here. They have a couple of prerequisites. I just hope they like certain donuts of the area.
I was gonna say, here comes the donuts.
Because I've already told them I will stockpile. I may have some in the freezer for them, so.
Are any of the members or directors compensated for this?
No, no one's compensated at all.
Okay.
It's good old fashioned cooperative.
It's a cooperative, the last of the cooperative
It's a
agreements.
good idea, it's a co-op.
What,
Get
as
things-
you
I make the
illustrated.
motion, we do it.
Okay, a motion by trustee Wicker to adopt ordinance 13-21.
Second.
Seconded by trustee Hupkey to adopt the ordinance that is the intergovernmental agreement on the Will Grundy Major Crimes Task Force. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Wicker?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Mr. Forsyth? Mr. Callahan?
Yes.
Mr. Henry?
Yes. Okay. Motion carries, and the ordinance 13-20 was officially approved. Now, we're coming up to a need to go into an executive session in order to talk about pending litigation and collective bargaining. It's not anticipated that there will be any action after this is over. It's purely for discussing those issues. So I would entertain a motion to go into executive session on the topics of pending, we have a question? Usually, we'll talk to you afterwards, right? Okay, yeah, motion to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing pending litigation and collective bargaining.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Hupkey, second by trustee Forsythe, to go into executive session on the subject of pending litigation and collective bargaining. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Hupkey.
Yes.
Mr. Forsythe.
Yes.
Mr. Callahan.
Yes.
Mr. Hack.
Yes.
Mr. Wicker.
Yes.
Mr. Ray.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries and we'll go into executive session. As I indicated earlier, we're not anticipating any kind of action after it's over. Karen, if you have some questions you want to ask before we head in there? Do you have any questions? Go ahead.